In a few seconds, you can create an Excel application that helps you extract employee records in a click. Is that possible? The world's foremost Excel consultant, Philip Gamey of Web and Software, and the founder of ExcelMonster.com joins me here. Philip, do you have some answers?
Definitely. As you can see on the screen, we've got a 3-sheet workbook which has a profile, the data sheet. Now the data sheet has all the employee records I need to extract critical employee data from, and that is actually formatted as a table. So you see on the design tab of table tools, the name given to the table is database. We'll later be referring to this list with a function. And then also we've got right here a 1-column list of all the employee records, and what you have here is the full list, unique list of employees with one extra list cell sitting on top of the list called employees. So I'm going to just have Control A, select the entire range, but first I have to make sure I'm sitting right on a cell in the range. I press Control A, and that would select everything including the header. The next thing I do is to press Control Shift and F3. So again, Control Shift F3, it would pop up what we call the create names from selection dialog box, and with the top row checked, guess what, it's going to name this list with the name employees because it's going to pull that name from the top row of the selected range. I click OK, and then just to test that, I sit in the name box and type employees to make sure it has the name of the list, and there you go, it really works. And then you go to the profile sheet. Over here we are going to actually have our dashboard created to extract employee records. So the first thing you want to do is to bring in your list box. First, you go to the developer tab, you click on the insert drop down in your controls group, and then go for the list box form controls. Now I'm going to have that actually highlighted across a range of cells. Now you sit on cell E3, and then you want to give that a unique name. So you go back to the name box, and we are going to call this EID. EID in reference to the cell E3. I hit enter, and then to format the list box, you just have to follow 3 simple steps. The first of which, you just right click, you go to format control, and then in the second is to feed in arguments. The first argument is the employees, and then of course the last one is the EID. The input range is what you want to put inside the list box, and the EID is the cell we want to contain the row number. Then the third thing is to just click OK, and then let's test it. When you click on any of the employees, it's going to actually tell you its position in the database table we have on our data sheet. Let me have this list box sit right here on top of the cell E3. And then of course the last part of this is to build your function. To build a function, we are going to have to use the index. The index returns one value based on a column and then the position in that column. Okay, the position being the row number I'd like to extract records from. So first we go for index, and it's going to return, like I said, the value at the intersection of that row and column. The column is to actually go for my database, and then I go for the staff ID column, but I'd like to have that change across the row. So I'm going to get an indirect function to come and create a text that would be dynamic across column C. So the first for indirect is to type the database in double quotes, because this is actually going to be treated as a text. I open a square bracket after database to call the field, close the double quotes, bring an ampersand. The ampersand is really important because it allows you to introduce a cell reference in the indirect function. So now I'm going to type B3 to refer to staff ID. Okay, so I type B3, and then I want to go ahead and then bring another ampersand, and then I open double quotes and close the square bracket, close the double quotes, and I want to close the bracket for the indirect. The last thing you do is to introduce the next argument. There are just 2 arguments. The first one the indirect takes care of, and then the last one of course is EID for the row number of the records like extracted from our database. You hit enter, and there you go, right there. Really interesting. So now when I click on an employee name, like you can see, if I select a name, then you have all the details show up here, right there, dynamic, and very interesting.
Wow, that was really interesting. Well, Philip just proved to all of us that it is very possible, and he tells me there are more to learn. To get more of these Excel tips, you may visit www.webandsoftware.com. And thank you very much for watching.